Durut salam, здравствуйте. We have a fight, people. Isreal Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. What do I think about it? Well, first things first. My girlfriend got me this lovely Seattle Crackheads hat. And as point of business, you all got to know. If you're not living in Seattle or you're not from Seattle, there's not a lot of cracking around here. I don't see giant mythological octopuses or octopi. I don't. But I do see a lot of crackheads. So I am starting the movement. Let's call the Seattle NHL hockey team the Crackheads. Okay. Now on to the fight. So this one surprised me. I was leaning to Adesanya. The reason why I was leaning to Adesanya is because he doesn't need to have great footwork to be on balance. And when he has great footwork, he's very quick, he's lethal. He can go forward and backwards, wonderful, just like Kamaru Usman. And then he's got an amazing ability to get pop on his shots, both hands. And he doesn't need great feet for it. He doesn't need a good, solid platform. He just needs to get, just like Justin Gaethje. Not at the level of Justin Gaethje, but like close enough for it to be a thing, which is remarkable. He just needs to be able to just get good upper body rotation. You know, just a little bit of it. And Adesanya can do some damage. So the difference between a one-hitter quitter and a person with knockout power is a one-hitter quitter is somebody who could not hit you all fight, and only one punch they can knock you out. Adesanya kind of is in that class, but he's kind of in the other class where it's knockout power. He can knock you out, and that's with everything else he does. Paulo Costa is going to glue himself on Adesanya. And I just watched Costa's last 3 fights. And I got to put a little more respect on him than I have been, because I remember early Paulo Costa, whose game had holes, who would stick his chin down in striking zones, and you know, the guy who would lean too far forward, he would go to the ground a little awkward, like, you know, early Paulo Costa. But he was the little engine that could, and he would motor through, and you pulled for him because he was like Rocky. You know, he would just keep fighting till he won. Like it was amazing. So I watched his last 3 fights. I watched some of his training sessions, and this guy's amazing. Paulo Costa's amazing. So in my heart, there's a little something in me that just wants to call it for Adesanya, because maybe Adesanya has got some wrinkle, but the intellectual part of me is saying Paulo Costa, because Adesanya lets himself get hit, and the way Paulo Costa is throwing combinations and kicks is amazing. So he's learning jiu-jitsu in Brazil from Brazilian jiu-jitsu artists, the best of them. And he is adding a striking game that is marvelous, to say the least. I mean, and he is an incredibly fit man. Most of the time when I see people that come out of the box with muscles and stuff, I warn people. I'm like, hey, what it looks like doesn't mean what it is. You know, Adesanya, his muscles are good, firm, they're matured, they have great conditioning to them. And he is that. He is a lanky, strong guy that is good on all platforms. He can be lean completely over and still have good balance on his feet and good pop on his strikes, and that's just because he's very fit. He's very fit. He looks like a yoga superhero. Paulo Costa, when I see people that are big like that, I kind of worry because you have to get oxygen. You have to breathe oxygen to every muscle cell. And that's why I downsized. I was much bigger, and I was like, fuck this. I can't live this way. So I ran off and fasted and starved off 16 pounds of muscle, and yeah, I don't look so superhero now, but I breathe a lot better, and I don't wake up so much at night, snoring. But Paulo Costa isn't that. He's not that. These guys from Brazil, they play football. They play soccer. It's a very physical society. My girlfriend is from Argentina, and she's, que más físico. So much physicality. And with all that said, with how fit he is, I don't think Adesanya is going to outfit him. I don't think it's going to be a battle of who's got the better cardio. I think they're both remarkably in shape. I think they're both going to come remarkably in shape. I haven't heard of anybody having any nagging injuries. I don't know. They've had plenty of time from the last fight. I don't think it's going to be hard for either one of them to make weight. And so those are the things where I'm like, oh, it's got to be Adesanya, because Adesanya's walking around more in fight shape, in fact, fight weight, than Paulo Costa is. And then I go back to what I saw on the tape, and Paulo Costa is going to be glued to him. Isreal Adesanya lets himself get hit 3 or 4 or 5 times, at least 3 times in a match, And I don't know if his chin can take what Paulo Costa is going to do. Paulo Costa is throwing great combinations. And when he says, I'm going to take my big leg and hit it against your skinny little ribs, I believe him. So intellectually, I want to call this for Paulo Costa. That's what I saw on the tape. Paulo Costa's last 3 fights versus Isreal Adesanya's last 3 fights. It's easy. The guy's dominating. Paulo Costa's dominating, and he will glue himself to Adesanya. Adesanya will hit him a couple of times, but that means Paulo Costa is going to hit him a couple of times. And when Paulo Costa hits Adesanya, it's going to be with a 5-count flurry combination. It's not going to be 1 shot here, 1 shot there. I don't think Adesanya is so quick that he can get away from Costa's everything. I think he's quick enough to get away from some of Costa's something. What that translates to, I'm eager to see. I don't know. This is a hard one to call. But it's hard for me when I look at the other stuff other than the tape. Who's going to cut the most weight? Who is injured? Who's getting over an injury? And the champ always gets a little bit of credit, There's always something because no one else beat him, right? So I'm going to come back with a little bit better analysis. But right now, I don't know. Something inside me is telling me Adesanya. My spider senses are saying Adesanya for no reason that I can say. But my intellect, my brain, is telling me Paulo Costa, it's going to be in the 3rd round knockout. Costa's going to fucking catch him heavy, wear him down for 2 rounds, and then go for the kill. So take that for however you like. All right? Cool. Oh, yes. Crackheads hockey. Crackheads.